Hey everyone, Yanis here from Magic Pages. Today I'm sharing some important information with you about how Magic Pages handles newsletter sending. To jump right in, there will be a few changes that you need to make on your end because we're changing the underlying email infrastructure that's powering all of your Ghost newsletters from Amazon SES to Mailgun. Ghost is great because it doesn't just let you publish blog posts and publications online, but it also lets you send those posts to your subscribers via email. So far at Magic Pages, this has happened through Amazon SES, which is a service that Amazon provides for web companies like Magic Pages. The reason for that is quite simple. Back when I started Magic Pages, every single cent mattered. Amazon SES was basically the cheapest email sending service you could find that still delivers emails to your subscribers' inboxes. It was basically a custom modification that I have done to the Ghost core. And custom modifications are great, but they also mean there's a lot of maintenance overhead that has accumulated over the last 20 months. And now that Magic Pages has grown into a well-established hosting provider in the Ghost landscape, I want to reduce that maintenance overhead and actually spend the time that I usually spend maintaining this integration in talking with you about your websites and marketing Magic Pages. So yeah, Magic Pages is moving all the email sending from Amazon SES, from this custom integration that I've built, to Mailgun, which is basically the email engine that the Ghost team has baked into Ghost itself. It is native, it is tested on thousands of websites, and it is finally time to basically do that loop and hop back to Mailgun. For you and your Ghost website, it means that we're closer to the actual Ghost core development. It means future implementations will not need to be ported to that custom integration. In its essence, you're getting updates faster and more reliably. The changes won't affect any of your existing newsletters or your subscribers. Everything you do right now will stay exactly the same. It's just the infrastructure under the hood that's changing. There are a few changes we need to make to your domain's DNS. Before we start, Amazon SES will be turned off on Magic Pages on January 31st, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. UTC. So basically you have the entire months of December and January to make those changes. The process is pretty straightforward. I've also tested it with a handful of customers already. There was a beta phase of about 2 weeks now, and now I feel confident that I can share this with all of you. Let's start by looking at your current setup, your current DNS. There should be 3 records that are dedicated to Amazon SES and how it sends newsletters. They look a little bit like this, and depending on which domain registrar you use, the interface might look different, but there should be 3 distinct CNAME records that point to somewhere that says Amazon SES. These records are what currently enables your Ghost website to send emails with your domain name. We'll be removing those later, but first let's set up the new process. Start by logging into your Ghost's admin panel and then navigate to the customer portal. Once you're logged in, look for the domain tab in the navigation menu and click that. You'll see that it probably looks different than the last time you went there. That's because I've done quite a few changes here. If you scroll down a little bit, you will find the new section where you can set up your new Mailgun setup. You have 2 options. You can either send newsletters by using the shared @mymagic.page domain, or you can set up a custom domain, which I personally recommend. Using your own sending domain typically leads to better deliverability rates and generally gives you more control. However, if you're just starting out and you just want to get this started, then just use the mymagic.page domain. If you decide to use a custom sending domain, here's exactly what you need to do. First, choose a subdomain that you want to use as your sending domain. The reason why I personally prefer a subdomain rather than your root domain, so let's say mail.yourdomain.com rather than yourdomain.com, is very simple. If you use mail.yourdomain.com to send emails out, if you have any deliverability issues or any spam issues in the future for whatever reason, it just affects that subdomain. If you now use, for example, yourdomain.com, the root domain, and you also have a, let's say, office@yourdomain.com, then this might also affect that email, which we don't want. Next, the customer portal will show you a couple of DNS records, and those will basically depend on what you've already set up on the subdomain. For example, there are MX records, so mail exchange records, that are necessary for deliverability rates to be good. If you already have some on your subdomains, then those will not be shown here. However, if you have not set up any MX records, then you will need to set some up, which will point to Mailgun. The only reason for that is to basically fish out any bounces and to satisfy email receivers because they sometimes, for example, Microsoft does that very heavily. They check whether you have MX records set up on your domain or not. If you don't, they might just reject your email or move it to spam automatically. The DNS records you will need to take to your domain registrar and put them in there. If you need any help with that, just reach out and have a look. And once you've added all of those records, head back to the customer portal, click that verify button and see if the DNS changes are already recognized. Depending on where you are in the world and how your domain register works, it might also take a few minutes to an hour or so for those to show up properly. Just come back to the customer portal later and try again. Once all the records are verified, your ghost site will restart, and this will take anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes. It's basically comparable to a ghost update that happens on a weekly basis. Now that everything is done, you can go back to your domain registrar and remove those SES CNAMEs that we talked about in the beginning, because you don't need them anymore. To wrap things up, just remember that those changes need to happen before the end of January 2025, because after that, the old system will not work anymore. If you run into any issues, then please reach out to help@magicpages.co or use the live chat that you see here in the customer portal. There will probably be a little bit more influx in emails from all of you, so it might take me a little bit more time than usual to respond to you, but I will get back.